Number nine, it's the art of thinking out loud. Live common sense analytics. I know I'm late because I have a lot of little setbacks going on. I get blocked a lot on a lot of networks. But what I wanted to do tonight, I'm gonna talk about a few things going on. Some some of this shit crazy. Um, you know, it's a lot of just goofy shit in the news. But like I was looking at a story. I don't want to laugh at this because it's not a laughing matter, but it's just a testament of like some of the shit our people get ourselves into. I read a story about somebody here in Ohio. A young lady, she got she wound up getting beat up by the police, but the whole situation transpired because she ordered double cheese on her Big Mac and it didn't have double cheese. So she went to the location and was wilding and they called the police on her. And that situation spiraled into her wind up having an altercation with the police where they assaulted her, whatever, whatnot. And I mean that's something serious. Don't get me wrong, but it's like we gotta stop doing stupid shit. I mean, come on, you wilding over cheeseburgers and all that type of dumb shit. That's the reason I say some of the things that happen to us. Well, I ain't gonna say some of it, man. Most of the shit that happens to us is self-inflicted. It's like, are we really that emotional that we go clown over a bad order and shit like that? Like just little goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? But that was a story that I saw that just messed with me because it made me think about where we are in society. Like when I was talking about the 6-year-old little boy who brought a gun, a first grader, a baby, brought a gun to school, and they said intentionally shot their teacher, you know, who was a 30 plus year old woman, but now the media is now changing it, saying that she's 20 something or whatever. I told y'all, I think this story has a lot more aspects to it than they're gonna let us know. You know, um, I'll even go so far as to say that y'all know me, I auto hoax everything until further notice. It's like it's not up to me to prove to y'all that it's fake. It's up to them to prove to us that it's real. Because it's like, how do you give us a story about a 6-year-old child take a gun to school? You give very vague details, and then you start promoting gun law propaganda on top of everything instead of addressing the fact that we have a baby that supposedly brought a gun to school and intentionally blasted a teacher. And then, as they say, was then taken into custody and is being held. Okay. Like I said last time, I don't know if people are really looking at this, you know, if anybody is seeing this in the way that I am, because we're given no real information about that particular situation. That's a child. We're given no real updates. Any real updates are just rehashed information that they just remix in a different way and they drop gun law propaganda on it. Not the fact that a baby allegedly, supposedly, intentionally went to school and shot a teacher, you know. And like I said last time, what kind of testament is that to our children? What kind of testament is that to our educational system? What kind of testament is that to our society? I mean, and that's just real shit. It's like if we're producing as they would have us to believe, 6-year-olds that would take a firearm to school and blast the shit out of a teacher in front of the class and then get apprehended and taken into custody. And that's all they really give us. That's because they want you to just focus on the fact of the gun, not the child, the gun. That's all they want you to focus on, because this is about legislature and about laws. It's about perspective. I keep going back to that in like every video, because I want you to see how if they can manipulate your perspectives, meaning everything that's done like optics wise, that's the reason you're giving things in the way that you are. Like they'll show you an event and they show it to you the way they want to show it to you, because they know capturing something at a particular angle, you know, having certain people speak on it in a certain way, then brings it to, it leans it toward a particular perspective. And then the public is then left to like basically take that and to we go as we follow that story through like our emotions. You know, it becomes a dichotomy where it's like people, we have one part of society will go one way with things and the other part will go the other way. The Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. They give you the problem, they cause the chaos, and they give you the solution in giving you these options that are already planned. As I told you once before, you don't have choices if they give you set choices. But I don't know, that was just something that was on my mind. I had to kind of clear that up from my last live stream, because I had people saying like, oh, well, if they give you A, B, and C, then you do have choices. No, the fuck you don't have choices. If you only have A, B, or C, then you have a menu of limited hangout choices, limited hangout selections. Those aren't, they'll call them choices, because if the person is controlling the game, meaning it's like being in Vegas and playing against the house. House is gonna always win, because you're playing the game that the house is orchestrating. So the house can determine what you can do. If they can determine what you can do, then you can't do shit but what they say you can do. Then you have no choices. Hope I cleared that up. If I tell you, like I said, you can have A, B, or C. You can have a hamburger, you can have a fish sandwich, you can have a chicken sandwich. 3 choices. That's it. I call them choices because I want you to feel like you're getting something out of it. No, you're getting one of these 3. That's it. There is nothing else. If I say that's it, because I'm like Vegas. I'm the house. If the house is making the rules, then you have to play the game within said guidelines. That's the reason when people go to Vegas and they quote unquote win, yeah, they let your ass win, because what you do, you fatten up the turkey, and then if they keep playing, then the turkey gets slaughtered, because you give all that money right back to Vegas again. It's the house. You play by the house rules. As long as you're, to put it like this, as long as you're inside of their house and you're playing games inside of their house, then every game you play inside of their house goes by their rules. And I equate that to society as a whole. We're inside of their house. So everything that's done is done by their rules. So you have said limited hangout ass choices that you can go from there. really none at all, but it's just the illusion of like being able to do some shit that you really can't do. You're running in a circle in limited spots, but you keep playing these same games, meaning that you keep going through these same you go through the same processes they tell you that will change things, and nothing ever changes because you're in Vegas, so to speak. You're in the house. So you going by the house rules, and the house is going to always win. So no matter how much you try to change things by trying to vote here, or you're trying to do this here, you're trying to run for certain legislature here, you notice nothing ever really changes because the world is Hollywood and the game is Las Vegas. And we're all inside of Las Vegas playing this game. And no matter how much we win, we still lose because we give it right back to the house. But I want to go into part of an interview I did on IPS radio with my man Tim Osmond, Infinite Plane Radio, Infinite Plane Society. We go into a lot of things about society, about how things are structured, how this whole system is one big Hollywood set. It's one big long play movie. It's like basically when you look at how we're given entertainment, and I'm not about to go into all of that again. I've done that several times, but we know what entertainment is and how we get the byproduct of the actual programming. We get the byproduct of it. We get to go to the football game and, sit there in our fancy attire, our Bengals gear, our Bills gear. We get to sit there in that, spend money on that. Sit there at the game. Now, we've went and bought hat, jacket, shoes, everything, tailgating, paid for the tickets, know what I'm saying? Watch the game, all of that. They've made X amount of dollars off you. That's the reason I say this shit is like Vegas. Know what I'm saying? It's the ancient Roman bread and circus. You give the people what they want, and they keep coming back, not knowing that what the proverbial house is giving them is all game. They can never win. You're in a proverbial rat race, meaning you're just running in a circle. Your whole perception is all propaganda. And if your whole perception is all propaganda, then how are some of y'all ass really woke when y'all questioning me on stuff that I think is just elementary? Really, it's just common sense. That's the reason my channel, my whole thing is common sense analytics. I analyze this shit off like looking at it just like we watching TV. Everything in society is like watching TV because we watch most shit through screens. Whether you're doing it on a smartphone or you're looking into your actual TV screen and you watching Netflix and all that other shit, it's like you're given a script of either what's going on at the moment or what's going to happen sometime soon. You can go back and watch several shows on Netflix. You can go back and basically watch anything. And if you're not looking at it for the sake of just being entertained, and you have a little more consciousness about you, shit jumps out at you. You see numbers jumping out at you. You see patterns jumping out at you. You see people mentioning stuff that you feel like you're hearing buzzwords in certain television shows, that you're hearing on certain commercials, on other things that you start hearing in music, that you start hearing just that become everyday language. This is done purposely. Those buzzwords, they become triggers, psychological and emotional triggers. And when they place these words in different television shows, words, phrases, images, when they place them in different television shows and they place them in different commercials, in different situations, shit that ain't got nothing to do with each other. Just the fact that you now have that in your mind, that word, you keep hearing that word is triggering something on a deeper programming level because you'll then start to see that word associated with certain propaganda. You'll see it put into things, like I said, they'll mention gun laws. They'll mention laws for, protecting certain groups. They'll mention certain agendas, and you'll hear these buzzwords attached to them. And it'll trigger inside of your head where you've heard these words mentioned in your certain television shows, phrases, whatever. All this shit is sitting in the back of your mind, just waiting to be triggered. And this is how they get us. This is why Will Cooper said in his book, Behold a Pale Horse, these are silent weapons for quiet wars. Meaning, most people in society are looking for World War III to be a bunch of bombs and shit, and folks fighting and all of that, everything. It's like, that's not what the next world war is, actually. This whole thing about perception. Like I said, if they can keep you thinking something, then you'll live in that reality thinking, oh, just because Ukraine doing this, or they fighting over here, or they fighting over there, oh, it's going to lead to the next big tragic world war, so and so. Man, them niggas been fighting for hundreds of years. Ain't shit happened, but what always happen? They fight, they kill, they do trading with each other. As long as the media don't talk about it, your ass don't even know about it. They bring that shit up conveniently when they want to trigger you. Like I said, they already had those psychological triggers already waiting through certain buzzwords. So when they bring it back up, Ukraine, you hear the word Ukraine, you instantly start thinking about war. You start thinking about other shit. Like I said, this is your world war. Your world war is here. It's not about somebody fighting physically, because if you know anything about the art of war, and you know about how warfare operates, the one who's in a war with someone, if you know the art of war, then you know that war is waged before your enemy even knows he's at war. Sometimes your enemy don't even know that they're an enemy to you. You may not even know who's an enemy. It's about always being prepared. And when you do have a focused enemy, it's not about fighting them physically and shedding blood. Nah, you have to win the war psychologically and emotionally. Like, I'm reminded of a funny little story from like just a lesson in the art of war. To paraphrase it, because I don't want to go into the whole breakdown of it, but to basically paraphrase it, it's like you get close to like your neighbor's lover. No, you get close to your enemy's wife, husband, whatever. And you smash them. Smash the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? You get inside of their head, get inside of their heart, have them gone on you. As they would say, you get them whipped, get them sprung, you get them emotionally caught up with you, entangled emotionally. And then you send them back to their husband, wife, whatever, your enemy. What that does is it's now it's war fought on like several different platforms at that point. You're not now. You don't even have to fight your enemy, so to speak, because your enemy is now fighting inside of their own household. Because now the spouses are fighting because they went and cheated with the enemy, and the enemy now has them gone emotionally. I'm telling you, there are all different ways of war that get waged every day. People do this stuff every day, but we don't realize that it gets waged on us on a larger scale. And it's like you have to learn how to push back, like push back further from something so that you can see like a larger picture, and you like, damn, it's the same game that we run on like one another in just everyday little things that like we do. Society runs it on us in everyday things that we don't even look at on that level. You know, most of the things that we do every day that we have to do for life, pay taxes, all of that type stuff. And the IRS ain't even a part of the government. IRS is an independent entity, but you gotta pay them. Think about that. Because, like I said, the house always wins. And as long as you're operating inside of the house and you're playing by the rules of the house, which we have to in society, because if you don't pay the IRS, then your ass going to jail. But it's like we're in this crazy ass Vegas game, and you gotta play. You don't have a choice. You have to play, and you have to lose. Everybody loses. We lose every day. But I'm gonna let you check out when I had my interview with on Infinite Plane Radio. My bad, brain fart. I was thinking about some other stuff. But my man Tim Osmond, I called in one night. We was talking about a lot of different things, but one thing in particular that we started this conversation out with is that this was like right after the whole Will Smith, Chris Rock situation. And it was when everybody was like, oh man, Will Smith just smacked the shit out of Chris Rock and so, and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh, that shit was fake. I thought it was part of the show. But I found myself getting into not even arguments, but just little stupid ass conversations with people where it's like folks was looking at me like I was crazy for not thinking that shit was real. I'm like, that don't look like no nigga that I know ever got the shit smacked out of him. That's not the way you respond, react. So I just figured it was part of the show. You're at the awards. You're at the biggest award event. This is where all of the top tier actors are. This is where the shit goes down. And you don't think something like that could happen? No security ran out. Like I said, no security ran out, nothing. So I thought it was part of the show. But other people were coming at me like I was crazy for not thinking it was real. And that's what me and my man Tim's conversation basically goes into. But I'm gonna let y'all check out some of that, and then we're gonna talk about some of the things. But then I'm gonna go back into a few other things because I want to talk to y'all about the prosthetic masking, because my reel's been doing numbers, and I thank y'all for that. I appreciate that. I'm just sharing information, you know, things I see on like the news, things I see on like Instagram, TikTok. You know, I repurpose other people's material and I focus in on certain points that I want to become conversation pieces, because I want folks to be more aware of just what's out there. That's it. I mean, these are just things I'm into. And that's just looking at society on a deeper level, looking at all of this on a deeper level. It's not about, you know what I'm saying, conspiracy theories. And that's something I wanted to really clear up too, is that I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist. It's like That's some shit other people drop on you. Nobody wake up and say, I'm a, yeah. That's the terminology they came up with. Okay, so that pretty much fits me. No, the fuck it don't, because what that shit means, conspiracy theorists, when they came up with that whole concept, it was the higher authorities came up with a terminology for people that were questioning their the official narrative. If you question the official narrative, you became a conspiracy theorist. Oh, they think something going on that's more than what we saying. Because we got common sense. People just ask questions. I mean, shit be sloppy. And this is something else I want y'all to really look at, is that we're in the year 2023. We're in the year 2023, and people are still questioning shit from the no, I ain't gonna say questioning. People are still hung up on shit from the 90s, like Tupac, and you know what I'm saying, and all this other shit and everything. It's like, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I mean, and ain't no better way to put it. Look, why do you think that whole Pac murder situation went down in the way it did? And here we are 30 years later, still talking about Tupac is alive, Tupac dead, Tupac this, Tupac that. Did Tupac fake his death? Did Tupac do this? Did Tupac? That shit was by design. That shit was by design. It was all put out there like that. Mainstream media put that out there like that, and that shit was set up like that for us to be still talking about it 30 years later, wondering if this man is dead or alive, and somebody is making hella money on the back end for 30 years. Know what I'm saying? You wonder why people running around here wondering if this man is dead or alive. Listen, I'ma just say this. I don't think none of these folks, these celebrities, I don't think any of them die at the time we think they die. I think what we see is we see their character get killed off the world stage. Meaning these, whomever this character is, this character, whatever name that you want to fill in the blank, because I don't want to say a name, because a lot of y'all buttered asses start, oh man, so you think so-and-so ain't dead? So you think, man, I don't think none of them niggas dead. That's just me. I don't think none of their ass dead. I think all their asses fake that shit. Because it's like, it's always too much shit surrounding people's deaths, these celebrities. It's always too much. It ain't never just like when your cousin got shot. Your cousin got shot, his ass died. Your brother got shot, his ass died. Your sister was had this happen to her, you know, she got hurt, she died. You saw the body, you saw the injury, this person died. Celebrities, it's always some shit where they all die the same damn way. It's always a mystery around it. There was always some big money situation coming up, you know, that surrounds it. Like a person got $100 million contract. Somebody was about to leave a label and make over $62 million. Somebody else was about to leave somebody else, and you know, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, this person comes up dead. Well, something I don't know that a lot of y'all know, that in California and Las Vegas, you can legally fake your death. And you can do it several other places too, but you can legally fake your death. No, I'm not making this shit up. Look it up. You can legally fake your death if you've had attempts on your life and you have the type of financial standing and backers that will help to facilitate this situation. You can fake your death. Hey, I don't make this shit up. I just find this shit out, and I think about it and I talk about it. And it just makes me question when I think about these celebrities and I look at what it says the whole criteria is for a person to be able to legally fake their death. These celebrities fit the criteria. You know, it's like that shit is just common sense. These celebrities fit the criteria. In California, you can fake your death. In Las Vegas, you can fake your death. This is just regular information. But nobody puts it together with, well, when certain people go missing and they never hear from them again, or it's like, this big person that was the head of this company, they're killing off people from these particular companies. They're going missing and they're never seen again, or they go missing, and then it's like a body comes up a week or two later, or a body never comes up, and it's always some old weird, strange shit. Like I told people, like okay, the girl from Glee, the Rivera girl, you and your son out on a boat in the middle of the water. You go missing in the water, your son is found. That's a ritual. That's a ritual. That's a long-standing ritual. And you see it if you just go back and you look at certain people throughout history. You study rituals and you look at certain things that's happened to like certain figures throughout history. You'll see they did these same things years ago. They did these same things. They died, quote unquote, or they went missing under these same type of circumstances. All you're doing is you're seeing it fast tracked into our modern times. People go out on a boat and they just go missing. A celebrity, her son is found. He comes back. He can't. He's too young to tell you anything, but his mom is just gone out in the middle of the water. All of this type of shit. It's like Princess and an elevator dead after he mentioned these things in songs years earlier, because it's like, I tell y'all, these people know what they're into. It's us who don't know. These people know what they're getting into. Why you think he went through that whole situation where he put slave all on his face and all that? No, it wasn't just because people thinking, oh, yeah, he a slave because, the record labels got him and they got him binded up and he can't do his music the way he want to do, yada, yada, yada. No, they own that nigga life. They own your life. It ain't about the damn music. Once you get to a certain level, it's about your influence. Your music is just what helps push it. You become larger than, like, your music helps make you a larger than life person. Somebody like Prince is a larger than life person because of his music. So when you would hear him speak in the later years, when you would hear him speak, it's like he always spoke about the ills of the music industry or the ills of just life in general, because he knew he was coming up to a certain point where it's like, I got to get right by somebody, because I done did so much shit in this industry. They all have to sell their soul. They all have to sell their soul. How some of y'all want to go about defining it, you sell your soul a lot of times when first way you sell your soul to me, signing to these labels, feeling like you need them to push your art. No, you selling your soul to me in that aspect because your ass wants some attention. You want some attention that you don't think that you can garner yourself. So you need this company, this entity that you don't know nothing about, but what you see in the glitz and glamour, that when you see the music videos and you hear these songs and you see these people driving fancy cars and shit and all of that, it's like, man, that shit is prop. That shit is prop. That shit is all staged. Y'all need to go check out Fantasia's interview when she was talking about like when somebody said to her about, oh, I wish I had your life and all of the money and all this so and so, this and that. She was like, man, all that shit cap. She was like, that's cap. She said, I got to get my ass up just like everybody else. I got to go and do these shows, hit the studio. I got to be at this meeting. I got to be at this interview. I got to do this. I got to do that. All so that you can pay your bills every month, just like the rest of us. And so you can now perform on stages. A lot of times you're driving in cars your ass don't even own. You're living in a house that you don't even own. All of this stuff is owned by your boss, the record labels. Tupac was a good ass example of that. Suge Knight had the nigga living in houses and driving cars and shit he had ownership of. These record labels do the same thing. This ain't something new. And that's why I look at it like when I see people and the way they make Suge Knight look like, oh, Suge Knight was a monster. Suge Knight was this. Suge Knight was that. Man, Suge Knight wasn't doing shit. Barry Gordy, David Geffen, know what I'm saying? L.A. Reid, all the rest of them do. Y'all just don't see that monstrous side because it don't always manifest as somebody being a big ass dude that's like a physical bully. Nah, you got people that'll do shit for you. And I'll put it like that. You got people that'll do shit for you. Like, we all think about when they talk about Suge Knight hanging Vanilla Ice over the balcony. So what? He was doing that all back in the 50s and 60s to people. That was nothing. That was like everyday business. Oh, you don't want to sign? Hang his ass over the balcony. Some of them niggas got dropped. You know what I'm saying? But when they asses got dropped, let me tell you something. There's a death clause. There's a death clause that you sign that you don't even know you signing because it's all written in legal nomenclature inside of these contracts. You don't know what the hell you signing. Sometimes the contract look like a damn phone book. Sometimes it's just a couple sheets of paper. And you looking over the words like, oh yeah, look good, look good, look good. And you sign it. Or even when y'all go get these entertainment folks, like, you know what I'm saying, your lawyers and everything, and they look over it and all that, and they like, yeah, it's good to sign. Man, you better get somebody to look over them and somebody to look over them, because in most cases, I ain't even finna say many, I'm gonna say most cases. In most cases, the record label or the entertainment entity that you're signing to already got those niggas in pocket. Whomever. These lawyers, these accountants, all the bookkeeping folks, everything, all of them are already in pockets. If they're like independent entities and they're, you know, they supposedly work outside on their own and stuff like that. Yeah, you hire them because you get a good referral. The labels will even give you referrals to people because those folks are already in pocket. So you now have a wolf watching over your goodies while you're doing business with wolves. Make that make sense. But this is the entertainment industry. And this is why I say you sell your soul on the first level when you even want to get signed with these folks, because you think you need that extra push. That's crazy. Because what comes with that extra push? Shit. What comes with it is that you have a life of like drug abuse because you're trying to numb out all them parties that you went to and all that shit you did in them secret rooms, because you're trying to numb out knowing that you're like standing in front of people every day, stepping out of these cars and these glamorous clothes and everything, and all of that, those clothes are going up on a damn hanger when you leave that situation, and the car is going back to wherever it's going. Or if you do own the car, then it's like that's all the fuck you really own, because if you own the car, then you probably don't own the damn house. See, niggas don't want to have that real conversation about the entertainment industry. Most of these folks are capping. And this is why they keep running, trying to get signed to this label, that label, this label, that label, because they want these advances. But what comes with these advances, they ain't just finna give your ass $50,000, $100,000 up, sign you to these $1 million contracts and all of that stuff, just so you can go jump around and make some music and everything, and you don't even recoup on the shit you supposed to bring them back and everything. Nah, they have to make sure that they're going to make some money off of you. It used to be record labels. Well, this has always been in effect, this whole death clause thing. But a lot of, I guess, these lower level, I would say newer labels, these newer black labels, Spanish labels, all that stuff, these like new age labels, wasn't quite hip yet. They wasn't quite up to par on that level of the game. I think once they found out how the bigger labels were, making up for signing these artists, like, how the hell can these bigger labels sign 20 new artists and they might put out 5, and they got the others in the studio making music, everything. Some of it never gets released. Sometimes just a single here and there. And then you'll hear about these people dying in like car accidents. This person went to jail for murder and then they got killed in jail. This person got killed in a random shooting. This person got hurt like this. This person got hurt like that. It just seems like all of their artists then start dying. And the crazy thing is, people say, "Oh, are you reaching so and so?" No, most people don't know a lot of this info unless you go into like YouTube, or you're finding it out from like people that actually know people. Because if nobody ever reports on it, and when I say report on it, I ain't talking about these big media networks. People like to, talk shit about all of the bloggers and everything. Man, shout out to the bloggers, because if they didn't dig, if they didn't research, if they didn't get certain, information, then it wouldn't open up certain rabbit holes for us to be able to even go down. We wouldn't even know about what's going on with, certain artists. We wouldn't know about what's going on with certain situations. And then we wouldn't then have a leverage factor where we could start putting some of this shit together. Like, wait a minute, this picture is it's coming together, and it's not looking the way they want us to see it. It's looking a whole lot darker. But that's what I mean by when you sell your soul to these record labels, when you want to get signed. And then once you're signed and they give you a taste of the spotlight, they give you a little, they give you, a little cash, they make things accessible to, then that's when they hit you with the whole, when you start to get invited, like I said, to the parties, and you start doing drugs that you don't normally do, because you get to meet people that you wouldn't normally meet. And these people are people that you need to move into the next level of your career. This is why there's such a push for like party culture in society. Everything is about partying. Everything is about is about just everybody turning up, everybody going out, everybody dressing to go out to the party, everybody doing this party, 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 party. Let's all get wasted. You know what I'm saying? Everything is about partying because this is where their evil business goes on. If they get you in the culture, like I said, it's about conditioning people. If you can conditioning people, if you can get them conditioned to be in these type of atmospheres and to take certain things as being a normality, that's an aspect of warfare. Now everybody's used to just being out partying all the time, and you're used to seeing weird ass shit in the club. When that starts to be a normality, like you're seeing people have all kind of sex in the club, and and you're seeing people doing all kind of weird shit in the club, when that starts to be your normality, then like I said, this is where we start to move into what I like to say, this is where the dark web starts to leak into our regular society. This is where you start having dark web activities, these closed door activities. This is the stuff that you're not supposed to see, but now it's becoming entangled into our just everyday society, and they're doing it by just by keeping us conditioned to not paying much attention. And then another thing, for those of us that are quote unquote a little bit aware, woke, however y'all want to call it, they guardrail the information. This is why I tell people, you got to get out of this thing where you think you're going to get smart as hell by Googling everything and shit like that and looking at it online. No, you're going to have to get your ass some books, some real physical books, because they can edit things online. They can edit things online. Anything that's online that's accessible on one of their servers, on one of their platforms, even if you have it on your personal website, it's still on Google, it's still on, on one of these main frame platforms. So therefore they can treat it like how they do Wikipedia. It can be edited, or it can be taken down completely. So you have to get back used to reading physical ass books. You know what I'm saying? Reading damn physical books. Because a lot of times the same book you can read online, if you read the physical copy, it says something completely different. Because we're going through Fahrenheit 451, where they're burning all the books. They want you to stop reading these books, and they want you to read everything online, because what's online can be edited. What's online, your reality can be altered. Your perception can be manipulated. But I'm going to let y'all check this out for a second. This is my man, Tim Osmond, Infinite Plane Radio.
Ace room, which I highly recommend, which is focused exclusively on space. Infinite Plane Radio. Hey, what's up, caller?
Hey, yo, this is Auto Thinking Out Loud, Cincinnati.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, I was interested to see what you thought about this ritual at the Oscars.
Oh, I was just listening to you talking about that, and when I saw the whole situation with Chris Rock and with Will Smith, first thing I saw was, this is fake as hell. And I went to Facebook and I made a post. I said that fake ass slap or something to that ability. I said, man, y'all all fell for it. And then I said, humiliation ritual.
Pay attention.
Now, the reason I said that was because I feel like that's what we've been seeing for the longest. We've been seeing these humiliation rituals with the Jussie Smollett, with some of the other folks and everything. I think it's just, we're seeing it, and it's now getting more ridiculous, because it's the first thing I told people was, how do you? Okay, we're talking about Will Smith, Chris Rock, amongst a lot of other A-list celebs.
Top tier
And
celebs.
not only are we talking about like just having these celebs in one place, we're talking about this event, the Oscars. Now,
This is where they do the work.
think about the level of like security that goes into these things. Do you really think if somebody had an outburst and started storming to the stage, that they wouldn't have some type of security rush in? That's how, like I told everybody, come on, man, that was staged to begin with. Because it's like, you mean to tell me that when you get, and this is something else I saw, you get all these black folks at the Oscars coming for this, and Will Smith just happens to be winning, and then he makes this dramatic event happen right in front of everybody, him and Chris Rock, and now the footage has come out from a different angle. Well, you see that it was fake, and then it was like,
Everything
if you really
is
watch
fake.
it and you go back and you watch the footage, man, the sound effect came before Will even supposedly made any type of contact.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you can see Jada in the beginning, you see her like everybody's laughing, and then it's like you'll see her look up at a monitor like she gets some type of cue, and then it's like at that point she looks up at the stage at like Chris Rock, and that's when the cameras focus on her. And then I think that's when Will probably got his cue, and that's when he started saying what he did, and then the whole situation went down. But when they showed it from the other angle, when Will was doing all of this, while he was going up on stage and coming back, Jada was laughing.
Wow. Yes, that's what I would expect. They had to be in on it. But before the event, they were in a room with a green spotlight and her green emerald dress, this Venus archetype for the night.
The
And
ritual.
they said, we're ready for chaos, to cause chaos. So they went in there knowing they were going to stir something up.
See, and I think that right now, when you look at society, just the way that, okay, when something like that happens, it takes me back to when I told you before that I think that now it's almost like a litmus test to see how dumb we are. Not even how smart we are, but just how dumb we are. That it's like they can actually take a skit. Will and Chris, they did a skit that was done, like you said, by the Wayans brothers. I saw that on like
They refurbished an old skit.
amongst a couple other skits. Him and Chris Rock have worked together, man, several times. They did on the like Fresh Prince, and it's like, so I told people when I saw
Everything
I
is
thought it was
staged.
another Will and Chris Rock skit. I didn't even think it was anything serious. When I saw that the media was trying to make it serious, I'm like, man, y'all kidding me. That slap was fake as hell. I thought it was, and I think that, okay, have you seen the still shots of the different celebrities' faces?
No, I haven't watched the still shots. What they,
All
what
the
they
celebrities'
reveal.
faces, they knew something was
Okay,
going to
when you
happen,
look
but they
at
didn't know
the-
what was going to happen.
That's the still shots of the different celebrities' faces.
Beyonce was laughing.
Most people look shocked because what I think that most people look shocked except for maybe two people. I can't think of the guy's name. It's a white guy, blonde hair, but him and Beyonce. Jay-Z looks shocked, but Beyonce is laughing. And that's why I think they were all tipped off and told that something was going to happen, but I don't think they were told exactly what.
Yes, okay.
Happen. That's how come there was like no security, nobody jumped up, and then you have this dramatic. Who did they bring up there? Tyler Perry, who we talked about. They brought Tyler Perry up there, Denzel Washington, everything. It's like, world stage top elite actors.
Now you say world stage, and that's a phrase that comes from Shakespeare. And Denzel Washington had just played Macbeth. And right before the incident, Chris Rock had shouted him out and said, "You were great in Macbeth," which
Right.
you're not supposed to do because it invokes the Macbeth curse. I think you're supposed to call it the Scottish play. So there were reports or stories about how this was the Macbeth curse. And I'm like, well, there was just another one of these inside kind of jokes or whatever. But when I saw Denzel, as in Macbeth, hanging out with King Richard,
Right.
laughing to the side, I'm like, again, it just seems like all these characters are coordinating this whole thing.
They were celebrating a world stage event.
Else. You brought up King Richard. Like I said, I saw that movie, and I think it was a damn good movie. But I'm gonna tell you something. What I think really should have tipped off the public was the fact that Will got up on stage, conjured up some tears. He's a top tier actor now. I don't know why people don't get this. He cried on cue, and he made references to his character in playing Venus and Serena's father. He made references, and he got a little laugh, ha ha ha, he there. That's the reason I was still that dude in the room that's thinking, hey, nobody else knows that
This shit is fake.
part of the show.
It's part of the show.
Right.
It's like it was just too obvious, but it's like the rest of society. Man, I'm gonna tell you, I've seen everything from now, especially in the black community. I've seen everything now from hashtag protect the queen, where it's like now Jada is she's this queen that's risen, and she stands for you know, women that are going through something and
Propaganda.
having people pick on her, and now your man stands up and everything. Man, I thought Will looked like a punk. And the reason, and something else, I'm gonna tell you something.
They emasculated him
about this
in front of everybody. Humiliation
That's it.
ritual.
If you're sitting somewhere, right,
Common sense. Check
And
this out.
you-
Pay attention.
or looking, and you're with your lady, your significant other, whatever, y'all sitting somewhere together. You're looking across the room, and there's clearly tension. There's clearly tension in the room. Your mate is going to sense that they're looking at you as soon as they see you about to go and react. What usually happens? Your mate grabs your arm.
Yeah.
Your mate grabs your arm. It's a natural reaction. She didn't grab his arm. She watched him jump up. Everybody watched him jump up. No men that were sitting around him. And this is something else. No men, no security, no nothing.
That should have
Nobody
tipped people
did
off.
it. They pleaded to let him walk up there, and this is, and I say this. I know folks are gonna get mad when I say this. I thought that was a very feminine move.
They emasculated.
He got up. He ran up there. He slapped a grown-ass man. Supposedly, in the face.
Fake.
Laughed, turned around, and walked back off stage and sat back down. That's something women do.
Well, I see what. Well, you're suggesting. I guess maybe not. Passive aggressive would be a way of describing it. I think that it was a very
bitch ass activity.
You know what? But the way that I looked at it was like this. The way that I saw it was this. It didn't look like any real situation because I've slapped dudes before, so I know how they go. I know other people who have, and that's just being real. That's not how that situation happens. Y'all don't. There's not like a laugh and you walk back to your seat or whatever. If you don't knock him down and fight or whatever, if you don't knock him down in the end of that whole situation, y'all fighting, or somebody's gonna fight. Something's going on. It looked like to me when I told you, when we see these like Shakespearean and you know, we go back and we look at
Shakespearean
like Broadway and things like
Broadway
that,
acting,
the classical arts. He looked like he was doing like a classical muse where he walked up on stage.
A classical muse at the Oscars,
and then he sashayed back.
Will performed a classical muse at the Oscars,
and it looked foolish. And I thought that it looked feminine, it looked scripted,
They
it looked
emasculated him.
fake, and I didn't understand why nobody else saw that you're at the Oscars, one of the most esteemed, theater,
This is where it
scripted,
goes
Hollywood, world stage. This is where they show off their work. They
Yes,
let
yes.
Will and Chris do a low budget Saturday Night Live type skit on the damn Oscars.
He earned it.
They-
And he cried, he quivered his lip, he method acted his way into tears. And what do you make of the name of Chris Rock's comedy tour that kicked off right after, Ego Death Tour?
As soon as I saw that, I laughed because I knew what it was. When I saw that it was the
Ego Death Tour.
And then it's like
Humiliation
he
ritual.
stood there on stage like symbolic of the death of, his ego because he did fight back.
Got the
They
shit
look at- they
fake
look at
slapped
that
out of
as-
him.
Man, I would have knocked Will ass out. First off, he wouldn't have made it on stage because if you see somebody coming towards you, you look over to the side if you're in
Natural.
some place like that to see if security is coming. Especially if you know this person is coming towards you and you think it's violent. This person has just told you stop saying this, quote unquote, and they're coming towards you in a violent manner. Who's going to just stand there and get the shit slapped out of them, so to speak? Nobody. That's the reason I said this is such a big, man, this is like,
But this is why
you know what I'm
Chris
saying? This is
had his hands behind his back. I think he
had his
would,
hands behind his
he
back.
knew it was coming, and to avoid an inadvertent flinch that would give it
And
away.
he leaned forward.
Yes.
He leaned forward.
Right into it.
And that's what's crazy. Nobody leans into a slap. That's in theater. And then right after that, TMZ posted a video of Will showing a little boy how to fake a slap.
Yes, I referenced that with the other caller. He gave a slap
Yeah.
clinic, so he's a pro on fake slapping. And you brought up humiliation, right? And I found an article from
Mhm.
2014 in the Jerusalem Post about a ritual of slapping the king as a humiliation rite, and that this would be followed with the king exhibiting tears in order to guarantee an auspicious year for the country. So after the slap, Chris Rock goes on stage and he cries, he tears before he even speaks.
Right. See, and the thing is, I think that where the problem comes in is this. When I called you last time and we were talking about just the whole Shakespearean thing and, in the plays and the world, I think that people aren't making the basic correlation that when we mention things like the world stage, actors, and things like that, they aren't really connecting it to Hollywood. They aren't looking at that. It's like we're telling them that your favorite celebrity, whom you see in movies, television shows, commercials, etc. They also they affect world politics.
Yep.
They affect world politics because I'm gonna tell you something. Obama said something years ago when he said in a speech that every black kid won't get to grow up and be the next Lil Wayne. And when he said that, what I got from it was he was making an equation. He was like basically making it to where when you see a celebrity, that was like a basic standard that you want to get to. And every president that we have now, they go for the celebrity because they know that the celebrity is tapped into every level of society, from the older person to the younger person, because younger people are not into politics like that.
Yeah.
So you're going to get
Great
younger
point.
people when you get celebrities. And then, like I said, celebrities go from whomever, your grandparents all the way down to teenagers with different ones. So it's like you could easily use these NFL players, these NBA players, these rappers, these actors, and now they...
Okay, I just want to say something real quick. When I was talking about how they use celebrities NFL players, NBA players, all of that. Y'all know we have the Damar Hamlin situation, that fake ass situation. Man, look, I don't care no more. That was fake. Y'all know that was fake. It's like, come on, man. All these threes popping up everywhere. It's like, what time is the game? 3 o'clock. What number is he wearing? 3. All this other shit. It's like, man, this is all metascript prescripting. And it's to the point where it's not even, I won't even say that it gets annoying. It gets annoying because you see this nonsense. I mean, clearly, you could see right through it. And it's like, it annoys you that the rest of the public don't see it because they're so caught up in the bread and circus of things. Just the whole glitz and glamour of the game. And they got little kids crying, and you got little kids talking about get well, Damar, and making cards and everything and all of that. And it's like you're tapping into the innocence, the emotional innocence of children, of just people in general. This is what I'm talking about when I talk about energy harvesting. That one football situation set off this country. You had a GoFundMe that was only supposed to be for a couple $1,000 is now in the millions. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody ever really talks about the back end. And when I say the back end, I'm not always talking about money. We talking about the overall payoff. What's the bottom line? And the bottom line in a lot of this stuff is just the fact that you have people that are willing participants in these rituals. They'll do it. There are several books about staging NFL and, situations that go on in the NFL and things like that. One is called The Big Fix. And there's a part 2 to that book. It's about how they stage games, meaning how most of society is thinking that the game is determined by, how skilled the players are and the coach and everything. Hell no, they decide these games over a damn steak dinner. A couple days before the game. You're going to do X, Y, Z, boom, 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 at this time on this play. And then we're going to set this up and it's going to happen. And we know we can make at least this much money off of this. And you can get to do this and all of that, yada, yada, yada. You could wind up getting a deal from Nike or Adidas or Puma or one of these major companies. Of course, we're going to get a lot of money out of that because we're going to 360 the shit out of your ass. But, that's what all of this is about. They use people. And the thing is, I don't want y'all to be under the impression that these people don't know they being used. Yes, they ass do. Man, they know the job was dangerous when they took it. They knew what it was when they signed up for it. So I don't want people to be thinking none of this shit happens by happenstance. No, this happens on a deliberate basis. This is why it's called selling your soul. You gotta really think hard. Common sense, man. Let's just, for my peoples that have a shred of spirituality, no matter what you are, Muslim, Christian, whatever, they sell souls in every single religion, and it's not a good thing. So if you can be taken out to eat or have a few things dangled in front of you and you'll go for that in exchange for a lie that fools everybody else, but you can recoup on the back end. Hey, just remember, You're at the crossroads. And anytime you meet the devil at the crossroads and you sell your soul to him, they're going to eventually come back and collect. And what that takes me to is my good friend Lola Mitchell, Miss Gangsta Boo, passing on the first of the year. You know, I didn't want to look at this in this aspect, but it's like my spidey sense goes up. And, you know, I want to give a shout out to my man Black Balloon. His channel just went back up. You know, YouTube be taking him down because he dropped some heavy information. But he pulled up an interview with 3-6 Mafia member Crunchy Black. And in this interview, Crunchy says, he talks about how being 3-6, he said, look, man, I ain't about to sugarcoat it. He said, yeah, we was into the devil and everything because my man Lord Infamous was really that dude. He was into devil worship and all and like all type of shit. Him and Paul was the ones that was real deep into it. So we talking about kids that were like 17 years old. Like, how y'all get that deep into the damn devil at 17? And then I noticed that as like a pattern. I see it's like a lot of rappers out of Memphis have this devil thing going. Like, I don't know what that's about. You know, I'll find out later. But I want to play a little bit of this Crunchy Black situation and just let you hear out of his own mouth. He basically says, like, we used to, his words, he said, we used to do the pentagrams. He said, we used to do the Ouija boards and all of that. The offerings, the spiritual stuff, everything. He said, and you know, in doing all of that, you never think that it has actual repercussions. But over time, Lord Infamous passed away. Koopster Nigga passed away. You know what I'm saying? 2 members that were like close members of the group. You know what I'm saying? And he said like, it's 4 of us now, but like, let's just say, like, you know what I'm saying, Gangsta Boo passed away. He said, I ain't saying I want Gangsta Boo to pass away or nothing. He said, but let's say Gangsta Boo pass away. Then it's like so and so. I'm like, wait a minute. Let's say Gangsta Boo pass away. I don't want to say I want Gangsta Boo to pass away. And then she passed away. And listen, I'm gonna just let y'all hear for yourself.
So, you know, check this out. You did the pentagram shit, what you call that shit? We did all that, we did all that old spooky ass shit when we was kids. But something seemed like it happened. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think 3-6 is not like 2 dead, rest in peace, 2. Lord dead, really rest in peace, Lord. You get what I'm saying? Here come me, Paul, and Juicy is still alive. Just imagine if Boo was dead. Don't want Boo to be dead. Then it might won't work. You know what I'm saying? But since it's still 4 of us.
Now, he said, imagine if Boo was dead. I ain't saying I want Boo to be dead. He said, but then it will work. Man, look. Miss Lola Mitchell was a friend of mine, so I can only leave it up to, you know, speculation. But that was just something that kind of, you know, it just kind of stood out to me because my man found that piece of footage and put it in the video. I wish the audio quality was better. I'll show you the actual footage and try to clear up some of the quality when I splice this and do videos for it. But I thought that statement was deep in itself, you know. And then it's like, just for the symbolism factor, he's wearing an orange hoodie, holding a little bottle of fire water. You know, it's like, look, man, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know. This is all up for like speculation, because this entertainment industry ain't nothing to play with. And I don't think people really honestly know what they're getting into when they really pursue trying to sign on to these entertainment entities that are all linked into this deep esoteric shit that is above your understanding. You thinking it's just a business of, you know, promoting music and, you know, movies and stuff like that, but this is the business of Hollywood perception. And when we're talking about Hollywood perception, and it's like, that's bigger than your little rap song. That's bigger than you running a touchdown all the way up the field, or you scoring 100 million damn points in the basketball game. It's bigger than that. Because honestly, I'm gonna tell y'all something, and this is gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings, but this is just what it is. It's not about how good LeBron is. It's not about how good Steph Curry is. It's not about how good fill in the blank, whoever that person is, Michael Jordan, fill in the blank. It's not about how good they are. It's about the vehicle that's behind them. It's about the promotion. It's about the influence that that particular person has. Because if that person doesn't have a lot of influence, then they're kind of cannon fodder, so to speak. And I always tell people that the reason that you get these people like the LeBrons and the people like that, I don't want to keep it on like basketball and, you know, and shit like that, but I'm using this as like an analogy. They put together these super teams, these all-star teams and things like that. Why do you think players always try to get traded and moved around to be with other more successful players that are in successful franchises? Because it's not about the actual player, it's about the franchise that they go to. That particular franchise may be the one that's up on the world stage doing most of the promotion, and this player wants to be a part of that particular atmosphere. He wants to be in that scene because it'll then raise him to another level in society. You get to meet different people. You start being on larger platforms. You start to grow. You grow bigger than life, so to speak. You become like Michael Jordan. You become a legend. And we throw that word around a lot, but I give Michael Jordan credit where due. He is a legend, because you're talking about Michael Jordan and this man don't even, well, we're talking about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is still in the conversation and he don't even play the game, hasn't played in years. You know what I'm saying? When you leave an impact, and that's what it's about. It's about how they can control, meaning media, meaning corporations can like control the influence of your impact on society. Like I said once before, we have politicians, we have other folks that will have on social media, they'll have like maybe a couple 100,000, maybe like 50,000 to 100,000, sometimes 500,000, maybe even 2 million Twitter followers. And this may be like a politician, your mayor, whatever. Somebody who runs for an actual public office or a state office, a national office, whatever. Then you'll have your celebrity, whomever you want, fill in the blank, Jay-Z, whoever, Lil Durk, whatever, Lil Baby, I'm just naming folks. You'll have these celebrities. These celebrities have online followings on one platform, sometimes upwards of like 20 to like 70 million. Now, if you have the eyes and ears of 20 to like 70 million people, you have a particular percentage of the influential demographic, or so they want you to believe. This is why you'll see presidents standing with celebrities, top athletes. Why do you think every president invites people to the White House? People who ain't got nothing to do with politics, so you think, because they get them involved into politics so that they can use their energy. They can use their influence. It's about harvesting that energy. Like I said, they harvest your energy and they use it for their own selfish purposes, and they throw you pennies financially, because I don't care how much money you think this person has or whatever. Kanye already showed you. Your money is a quick little click and they can humble your ass real quick. Kanye went from a supposed net worth of like almost $11 billion to like 400 million. How do you lose $10.5 billion overnight almost? That's because most of these celebrities' worth, so to speak, is all in these larger corporations. It's in these large corporations. These larger corporations build them up, and they tell us these people are bigger than they are, when they're actually not. They may not even be that big of like an influence at all like that for real. But some are, and these are the ones that you see political figures target. They'll go get the NBA player that's scoring the most, or that's got the rings, and the NFL player or the baseball player, or they get the rapper. And then think about it. What the hell was Eazy-E doing at the White House? Eazy-E, a gangster rapper. What was Eazy-E doing at the White House? You know, we make little jokes about it and stuff and everything, but nah, that was really a serious situation. And people don't even think about it like that. What the hell was Eazy-E doing at the White House? That takes me back to the meeting that was had in the 90s, in the early 90s, when they were about to switch everything over to gangster rap. You know, the reason you started seeing a different kind of celebrity entering the White House was because a different kind of agenda then went into play. Once they had that meeting in the 90s and they said they were going to weaponize music, rap music in particular, you know, they were going to weaponize it because it was the growing culture, then we started having figures that, like Eazy-E, Ice Cube, other folks and everything. These became our social figures. They became constructs in society that we related to them because we felt we were from similar neighborhoods and we could relate to a lot of the music. So we took it on like we knew these people, and we felt close to him. So when we saw Eazy-E go to the White House, we like, oh man, Eazy in the White House, that's a good thing. Nah, I ain't see that as a good thing, because I mean, don't get me wrong, Eazy-E is a self-professed criminal. So if you got a criminal in the White House, a gangster rapper, quote unquote criminal, then it's like, what are you discussing? I know y'all ain't just having dinner talking about your albums and everything. I'm pretty sure some other things were discussed at other White House meetings and shit like that, because they take the most influential, you know, and they use them. And then when a person dies, like I say, we don't know what people's crossroad promise was. You know, Eazy-E wound up in the hospital with AIDS and died fast. And then you had Suge Knight making jokes about how they killed him. I mean, this shit is crazy. This shit is cloudy. This shit is corrupted. And we in this house. You know what I'm saying? We in this house because we consume this entertainment. We consume these images. You know, we make life situations out of this. And we start to like equate certain things in the music and everything to our everyday lives because we feel a connection to these things because of where we are, not just psychologically, but where we are emotionally. And that's all done on purpose. They keep us emotionally stifled and depressed. Even when you think that you're at your best, you're actually kind of depressed because you're always chasing the next high, whether it's an outfit, it's a car, it's the next amount of like money, it's the next place to be, nightclub, whatever. It's like we chase these dopamine rushes emotionally. And when you don't fulfill all of them because everything is coming at you so fast, then it's like a lot of us start to feel like when we're not doing enough. You feel like you start to feel regret. So you start chasing after superficial things when you do start to redo yourself, or you take your New Year's resolution. Even when people say they're gonna be a better person, everything that they talk about is about basically trying to do some shit that they shouldn't even be stressing for real. Something that you shouldn't even be stressing for real. You could do that every day of the year, you know, but they put an importance at a certain time of the year because energy is high during certain times of the year, especially in the Jason months, you know, July, August, September, October, November. In the Jason months, energy harvesting is very high, you know, at its highest levels. So when people talk about like the end of the year and stuff like that, really think back. If you go back and you do research on a lot of things, you'll see so much happens just during those months, the Jason months, that affect society. It's unreal. It's unreal. These are just patterns, correlations in society. And it's like now, like I said, I didn't mean to be on this long, you know. As you can see, I had a lot I really wanted to kind of get off. You know, been working a lot, writing these books, working on blogs, getting my website together to relaunch. I'm about to relaunch Art of Thinking Out Loud.live, and it's gonna be nice. It'll be up in the next week. But where you'll be able to access like a lot more content that I can't talk about on here, which I know they'll probably take this down anyway. I don't care. It'll be up on a bunch of different platforms anyway. But yeah, I just, you know, I had a lot of things I wanted to get off my chest. But before I leave, I've been posting a lot of reels that have to do with prosthetic masking. And I want to talk about that because I don't think a lot of people understand. When I see people talk about it, you know, people are like, I guess it's like it's something new to them. So they still think it's fake, or they don't think it's like as deep as it is. I mentioned a woman, former CIA master of disguise, Miss Jonah Mendez, was the CIA's master of disguise for like 26, 27 years. And she talked about a technology of creating synthetic masking, not just for the face, for the entire body, you know, where a person could actually become somebody completely different, you know, and how this type of technology has been going on for decades, but it just got disclosed 2015, 2016. But Jonah Mendez goes into how I'm gonna post the video of her in a few interviews talking about it. But she talks about how she visited President Bush in the White House several times, dressed in prosthetic masking, face, body, everything, as different people. And the president didn't know. He thought he was meeting different people. And then she came back as her actual self. And she showed him the footage of her in these different prosthetic outfits, masking, appendages, everything, visiting him, having conversations with him. And he didn't even know he was talking to her, came as a man and came as another woman, and completely fooled him. This is why when I tell y'all, when you seeing Joe Biden, you ain't seeing Joe Biden. Joe Biden ass probably dead. I say it, Joe Biden is probably dead, because we're looking at several people that's playing Joe Biden. You can see where the neck sometimes is a different color. You can see where the ears are attached, where the ears aren't attached. You can see where the face looks all scrumpled up. You can see where the hairline is different. You can see just the masking. Whoever is doing the mask, they must have to make this mask fit several different people. So they have to make alterations on it, or you have several different people creating this mask, and they're not quite going on to everybody in a as believable way. But Joe Biden's not the only one. Salute the late great Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory was the one that put the information out there that there were two Donald Trumps that we saw on media, the one with the red tie, the one with the blue tie. But they all have several body doubles when they move publicly, because you're a politician. A lot of people may want to take, attempts on your life, whatever, for safety reasons and for other reasons. They move with body doubles. I heard about how, Eminem has a body double. I've heard, hell, we see people's body doubles. We see people's replacements. We see people's replacements completely. Y'all know, y'all see some of these celebrities and we know what they look like. And then you see them after they've gone through some drastic change and they don't look nothing like what they used to look like, i.e. Madonna, i.e. Kodak Black, i.e. Gucci Mane, i.e. Simon Cowell from the talent show. Simon Cowell's face looks completely different. He looked like how Madonna looks. It's either somebody with a prosthetic mask on. Maybe Simon's dead. I don't know. But I know that the person that they're showing you now doesn't look like the person before, just like when you see Madonna. But I think the situation with Madonna is the fact that you're looking at a witch. Madonna, Cher. See, people don't understand that it's like the reason these people are even named what they are. Madonna, Cher, Shar. You know what I'm saying? If you know who these people are historically, then you know why these people have these names, so to speak. And that's why if, when I see the prosthetic masking, well, just knowing about the whole prosthetic masking this whole, technology. Like I said, Jonah Mendez talks about how this has been going on for decades. And as far as our governments using it, but this wasn't something that they even came up with. Like Orlando Brown talked about in the Tasha K interview, when he said they learned this from how the natives in different countries and stuff, how they used to, remember we used to hear about people getting scalped. They'll scalp the person and they'll have the person's hair, and they would, some of that technique of like scalping, you're not just scalping the person's hair now, you're cutting the person's whole face off, and you could wear the person's face so that you could infiltrate the villages. This has been done for hundreds, possibly thousands of years, because time is relative, you know. And we don't know, hell, we don't even know how time operates for real. We just make this shit up as it go. That's the reason I say this could have been going on hundreds, thousands of damn years ago, because I think some of the whole symbology of when we see different cultures wearing masks, I don't think it's always just the mask, so to speak. I think sometimes that represents a whole nother technology that we're now using today as like prosthetic masking, but they were doing it in a whole nother way just years ago. And this is how our governments got this whole idea to do it. You know, but that's another rabbit hole. You know, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But shit, I've been on here for like an hour and a half. You know, I'm about to get a little work done. But I had to come unload on y'all a little bit, play a little bit of the interview with Crunchy, as well as play some of my interview, one of my phone calls in interview with like IPS, my man Tim Osmond. I'm gonna have Tim Osmond. I'm gonna try to get Tim Osmond on. He'll probably be my first Auto Thinking Out Loud live, like, you know, big name guest. I'm gonna get Tim Osmond on because we have a rapport. We've been talking about these things for a couple of years now, and he's enlightened me to like so much, you know, that I have to show him the respect of having him be one of my esteemed guests. Because I'm telling you, Tim come up on this platform and start dropping, y'all head gonna bust open, man. But shout out to my man Tim Osmond, Infinite Plane Society, Infinite Plane Radio. Know what I'm saying? You know, y'all, it's been a long one. I'm about to drink this water. Roll up another one. Get some writing done, you know, and I'm gonna talk to y'all on the next live stream. Y'all take it easy. I appreciate your time. You know, hope I was able to give you something, and, you know, to put on your mind. I hope the conversation, you know, kind of, you know, I'm not trying to be a teacher. I'm just your homeboy having a conversation with you about the things I have on my mind, about the things I see. I just like to share information. But this your man, Honorable October 9. This is the Art of Thinking Out Loud, Common Sense Analytics. And, you know, I'll see y'all on the